Should RobTob even release 2.2 at this point? Well, 2.2 has been awaited for almost 5 years now. It's the update everyone has been waiting for. So the obvious answer would be yes. Or would it? Now at this point, Rob has put a lot of work into 2.2. What started off as a minor update has become the next expected pinnacle of the GD era. If RobTob suddenly stopped working on 2.2 and dropped the development process, a lot of people would get angry and quit the game, and that with good reason. You see, with all the sneak peeks and teasers RobTob has given us, he basically cannot afford to drop 2.2 at this point. It would just be unfair to the GD community. But the GD community isn't the only one who suffers under the length of the development process. RobTob himself has huge expectations weighing on him the longer he takes to finish the update. In an attempt to satisfy all the expectations, the update becomes bigger and bigger, but that makes it only take longer and longer. According to RobTob, he's on the final stretches of the development process, but the huge amount of changes and additions to the main game could have tremendous effects on the game and its community. It's not news that games tend to overdo it with the updates. Titles such as Brawl Stars and Clash Royale started off with a huge hype around them and then slowly died out with every update. Not that no one plays those games anymore, but players tend to quit games when they can't keep up with all the updates. New characters, new abilities, game modes, maps, buffs and nerfs. It's no absurdity to expect a similar outcome with the 2.2 update. New game modes, block palettes, triggers, levels and opportunities. In short, lots of stuff the average G player will have to keep up with. Without knowing the actual size of the update, it is to be expected that the update will add more than has ever been added in a single update. There will be much more knowledge to gather about the game than there is currently. Let's say for purposes of this video that the average GD player knows 100% about the game. Come 2.2 and the same amount of knowledge might have shrunk from 100% to, let's say, 75%. It is still the same total, but it's much less compared to the maximum. Yet alone the addition of platformer mode might have a huge impact on the game. The threat that I'm trying to portray is that the update will be so massive it doesn't add to the game, it changes the game. Will players be ready to put in the time to keep up with all the changes? Some will and some might not. People make a lot of hype around platformer mode. But if platformer mode becomes more popular and becomes the new representative game style of the game, we have gone from geometry dash to geometry choose between going left or right. RobTob could totally make a smaller game with just the platformer and release it as a light version on the App Store. GD has gotten to such highs that an immediate drop of the game's popularity within and outside the community would be frustrating and would damage the artwork RobTob has been gifting us for the last couple of years. I mean, regardless of the quality of the update, the first couple of days after the update the game will be played more than probably ever before. Some argue that 1.9 was the prime time of GD and that's why there's a 1.9 private server. And I'm sure similar will happen with 2.11 after the release of the 2.2 update. Now the big question is it worth it to put everything on the line for just this update? I'm sure many people would be content with just a smaller update even after close to 5 years of waiting. But on the other hand, we have to ask ourselves, is it worth it to attempt to save the current state of the game by not releasing 2.2? And quite frankly, the answer to that question would be no. We already know way too much about 2.2 to live with never having it. It's like being hyped for your birthday party only to have it cancelled a week before. 2.2 is without question the greatest challenge RobTob and the community have ever faced. It's now up to us to welcome the update to our hearts and to RobTob to give it its proper reveal. And until then we can only wait and anticipate. And always remember, 2.2 soon.